Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 3 of the Plan to Reality series. Check out the first 2 parts if you haven't yet, where we set out and tiled the walls. In this episode, I need to level out this bathroom floor as it's a bit all over the place before I can start floor tiling. So let's get into it. You can use these methods on any floor, whether kitchen, garage, hallways, etc. So you'll find some tips and advice in here to use in many situations. First thing to do is find the highest point. So either using a laser with a tape or going around with your levels, this is the first step. I have a freestanding bath that needs to sit level at one side of the room, and the designer wants the floor tiles to finish flush with the shower tray on the other side of the room. So these are two things I need to take into account. When you find what you think is your highest point, you can pack up the other end of the level to make the bubble read true. Then you can work your way around the room from that point to check it everywhere, repeating the process. I use a mix of backer board, spacers, packers, anything to get you up to level. This is good for two reasons. One, you can start moving around an area, especially if it's big, just adding to your level every time until the bubble reads true. And two, then you know how much you need to raise that area by, i.e. if you pat the level up by 6mm to get it level, this means that part of the floor with latex or boarding needs to come up 6mm to be level. Where the bath will sit in this bathroom, it ramps up about 10mm higher than the rest of the floor, so I need to lose that difference. The other option in my case here is to lower the high point of the floor if you can. This is more tricky normally than building up the rest of the floor, as it may require removing concrete or wood substrate. If I didn't have to finish flush with the shower tray, then I'd raise the whole floor and be done with it. But when you have height restrictions like this with the shower tray, or maybe you have an adjoining floor in your hallway you want to run level with, you have to look at other options. So by the door here, the floor is around a good height of where I need to be for my tile to finish flush within a couple of millimeters with the shower tray, given once it's been siliconed. I need to make the floor the same height as that, basically. So my plan would be to remove the boarding across the lines I've drawn where it starts running uphill, replace it with thinner backer board, chop out some of the concrete from the old fireplace, latex the main part of the floor to bring it level. Then I'll add 3mm coupling membrane to the main floor and bridge the discrepancy from the back wall with a thin layer of latex. And in theory, that should bring me to a perfect level floor. We've still been able to tile to finish nicely on the shower tray. Adding the decoupling mat also gives me more protection on the main floor against movement. Okay, so earlier you saw I drew some lines where the floor started to go uphill. I'm now going to get a Stanley knife and just cut along them lines to remove that part of backer boarding. And for me here, I have backer board to remove. For you, it may be some plywood or concrete screed. It's the same methods. Next, I need to remove the screws and washers that attach the backer board to the floor. And like I say, guys, these methods can be used on various different floors, and I feel it's good to show you my methods and thought process to how I approach these situations to help you with your projects. Then with a hammer and chisel and a bit of muscle, I'll just pull out the backer board that I want to remove. Once I've had a little clean up, I'll then just check with the level to make sure my plan's going to work and that I still have enough height to attach thinner backer boards to the floorboards. So now, after checking the level, the last thing I know I need to do is to remove this concrete fireplace half a bit. I just need to chop about 5mm out of it. I'm not too fussed what it looks like because it'll be covered with a thin layer of latex once I'm done. Okay, so now I'll just mark and cut the new backer board into place, cutting out for the radiator holes, etc. And just roughly following the contours I drew earlier on the floor. Again, I'm not too fussed because it'll all get filled in later. Backer board is a great product because it's so light and so easy to cut, as well as all the great tiling properties that it has. With my impact driver, I now just fix it into place with the washers and screws. Check with the level again once it's been fixed, taking into account that the main floor will be about 5mm higher once it has decoupling matting on it. It looks a bit messy at this stage, but it won't be once it's done, and it's now starting to get level. Next, I'll go around with a flexible adhesive, filling any voids so the latex won't escape and to strengthen it up. I've got a hole here, so I've got to fill that up so the latex doesn't run away. So I'm just going to use backer board for now, and then I'll fill it up properly later. Then I'll apply waterproof membrane across the joints in the backer board. This will help for waterproofing, and again, so the latex doesn't run through the joints. That's something definitely to be aware of, especially when in an upstairs bathroom. You do not want the latex running through the ceiling. I'll put waterproof membrane up against the tray there, as that's quite an important part in the bathroom. Now I'm happy to latex the main part of the floor to straighten that out a bit. So this is a 2-part flexible self-leveling compound, which means you add the liquid and then the powder. Same for any products when you're doing this yourself, just follow the instructions on the bag and you should be all good. And now I can sort this part of the floor out with some self-leveling, and then the decoupling matting can be added. I know in the corner that I needed to be 6mm higher, so I can use my backer board as a guide, and coming closer to the shower tray, I know it's about 2mm. Okay, that's that done. I'll check it the next day now. Right, that came out pretty well. As you can see here, there was just a bit behind the door that I needed to add to, and I just put some waterproofing around where the bath's going to go, ready for latexing in that area as well later on. So you can see there I've just added some more rapid latex to that part, and you can see on the level here that is now bang on level. So in theory, once I get my 5mm worth of decoupling matting on this part of the floor, it should be level with the back end where it rises. Let's show you that now. So there are many different brands of matting, Dietra, Bow, etc. This one is a Dura-based decoupling matting. They all pretty much do the same thing. And like all matting, I'll mark and cut to size where I need it. Then I'll stick it down with a very wet mix of flexible adhesive. Scissors or a knife are good for cutting, whichever you prefer really. When the mat is down, it's always good practice to draw a line, so when you're spreading, you know where to spread to. Just double checking there that once my tile's down with the mat, it still is just about right on the shower tray. Another check with the level to see how we are against the back wall, the highest point. Now I know we're all good and I've drawn some lines down of where to spread to, I can start mixing up some adhesive and stick it down. I'm using a flexible S1 adhesive for this. As mentioned before, you knock it up a lot wetter than how you'd use it for normal tiling. I use a smaller trowel, a 6mm for this. The most important thing is the trowel still holds a notch even though it's quite wet. And when you're spreading, just try and keep your lines in the same direction so the adhesive collapses well and gives a good bond to the mat. It's always good when using matting just to lift a piece up every now and then just to make sure you have got a good connection. As it's a small room, I can put the whole piece straight in, but if it was a big room, you may want to just spread half of it or a quarter of it, put a bit of mat down, and then spread the rest of it as you go. So getting a good bond is important with matting. So you'll see here, once I get it down roughly, I'll do a funny little penguin dance, stamping on it. And then I'll go over it with my small level or grouting float you could use to make sure you push all the air bubbles out, giving it a decent fix to the floor. And then same process, just make sure your new piece is nice and buttered up next to the piece you just fixed and do the same again. Insert penguin wall. One last check for level, and then you can just go over it again with the big level, getting rid of the last air bubbles and making sure it's all fully bonded. And there we go, no smoke and mirrors here. That thing is spot on level. Last thing I need to do now is just fill the back with a little bit of self-leveling, and then I am good to start floor tiling. And there we go, that's all done. It's all in the prep, guys. Sometimes it can take a bit of time, but it's worth spending the time, because when you start to tile, your floor will be bang on level and you'll have a better finish at the end of the day. Now I've got the bath area completely level, so the bath will sit level. When I get to the shower tray with my tiles, the tiles should finish just perfectly on the tray. I hope this helped give you some insight to how I go about things, guys, and it helps you out with your projects. Don't forget to check out parts 1 and 2 from this series, and stay tuned for the next part where we will be laying the floor tiles and grouting to finish. Take care, guys. Catch you in the next one.